Hi guys, Miss Walker here. I thought what I'd do is put together a series of how-to videos and how to do some of the tasks. I've had a lot of questions about how to do the costume design, and I realise some of you are very confused about what you have to do. There are various different options to create this task depending on your level of ICT, your level of drawing skills, etc. So the first thing is everyone must read the PowerPoint. So I'm going to go through it with you and then I'm going to explain all the different options that are available for doing this. Okay, so create a costume for Cinderella. The role of a costume designer. The role of a costume designer for movie and theatre is to research, design and create costumes for actors and productions. Basically every production you will see on television, film, pantomime, theatre, they are all got costume designers. Sometimes they can buy costumes, but quite a lot of times they'll be required to make costumes that will suit to the actors. And you can see that the costume designer there, that she's very much working off a mannequin dummy and she's styling, it looks very much like a doctor's white coat and what she's doing. And on the desk in front of her, you can see that there's a little drawing and she's put down where the colours are. That is the stage that you're going to get to by the end of this lesson. The first thing you need to do is read the script and take notes on locations, personalities, etc. Every person has to read the script. Every designer, every actor has to read the script first. And that's going to give you ideas of where you are. For example, if someone is a very tough, mean gangster type character, you might want to dress them in black. You might want to have a black hat on, black shoes, very much look like some sort of thing at the Godfather movie, and that'll give you the idea that they are a mobster or a gangster. If somebody is very particularly girly and that is something you want to go for, like Elle in Legally Blonde, they use a lot of pink for her and that just shows she's very girly. So yeah, again, it's very important you read the script and understand what the characters are. The next thing you do is you talk to the director and ask if they have any ideas for a costume. The last thing you would want to do is step on their toes. If they've got an idea of how they want something set, as a designer, you take their ideas and work with it. They create a costume list, so that basically is going through the script and reading and writing down the numbers of costumes, changes that are appropriate, what costumes are required for what scene, for what characters. This is the stage you're going to be at today, is where you design and draw the costumes. The next stage is to measure the actors, make and adapt the costumes, and store and repair the costumes if necessary. So there are 6 things that a costume can tell the audience. First of all, it can tell the history of time period. There are certain types of dresses, and I think you'll imagine that are more appropriate Victorian times. If somebody is wearing a gas mask, you might assume that they're at a war play. If likewise if they're wearing a World War One uniform, you automatically assume it's World War One. Somebody might be dressed as a hippie wearing lots of flower power, and you might associate it being the 60s because that's when that was really popular. The location for the play taking place, is it a school? Is it North Pole, Hawaii? If it's in a school, then obviously you would expect people in school uniform. If it's in Hawaii, you might have a Hawaiian shirt. So basically, the way the costume is used and the choice of costume will tell you where it's set and when it's set. It can also tell you the weather, and that's very, very important. If somebody starts wearing an umbrella or a raincoat, then we assume it's raining. Okay, if they have a hat and scarf, we assume it's cold. The occasion, a wedding dress can tell you somebody's getting married. Like for the big fancy dresses that Cinderella would wear, would be something she would wear at a ball, a royal ball. So that can give you an idea of that's where that's set. And that's why at the very beginning, our outfit's more raggedy, because it can tell us that's in the home. And obviously, we know she is mistreated by her family. Recent events or scenes, that's what I mean. If someone's been shot in your play, then you expect to see fake blood, and that's obviously important as well. So that's a bit about what costume can tell you. Colour theory, this is very important. Every single aspect of design. There are films, and next time you watch a film, really try and notice what colours that the director has used, because a lot of the time the colours have been used to show mood and emotion and atmosphere. A lot of the time, royal kings and queens traditionally were associated with purple, and that's because It was a very expensive dye to get, and that's why they associated it with royalty. Evil characters often wear green as they're associated with negative characters and evil. In fact, actually, very often Panto characters are dressed in green and purple. And you'll notice that from things like the Wicked Fairy and like Jafar. He wears a lot of black and purple. Black is also used for evil characters to symbolise power. So here's some examples of what people associate with colour theory, and it's basically about thinking about the personalities and what colour you choose to show that. So here's a page here. So blue for a boy, cold, sadness, calm, water, red, danger, love, anger, fire, green, nature. If you're trying to make somebody a tree costume, it might be what you're using. Money, envy. In fact, actually the costume in Wizard of Oz is actually green for the professor, and that's to do with the money. Envy or jealousy, and I mentioned black for power. I've pretty much mentioned the rest of them there, but you can have a look at that yourself and it might give you some ideas about what colour you might choose for some of your costumes. In this task, you're going to design, now it says 2 costumes, but I'm changing it to 1. Some people are finding the 2 quite difficult. So it's 1 or 2, okay? If you do 1, that's fine. If you do 2, even better, for 2 characters in the pantomime. There are a costume brief of 3 characters. Now, a costume brief is what a designer will get from the director, letting them know what they're doing. You're required to pick 2 of the 3 costumes. Costume templates are provided, or you can draw it on your own paper. Okay, and you're going to use what you've learned about the costumes and colour theory to design this task. So here we go, brief 1. Cinderella, you're required to draw or sketch a character from Cinderella at the start of the play. And if you notice, a lot of the colours are brown, and that's been used in the past productions, and that's because it symbolises that it is particularly an old costume. Cinderella's kind, hopeful girl who loves her stepmother and 2 stepsisters. They keep Cinderella busy doing their chores and have little time for herself. She's likely to be in dirty, ragged clothes, and she offers to clean the fire. She's covered in soot. So you might have like black stains on her outfits. You might have rips in her outfits. You might have stains down her top. You might have ragged edges on some of her outfits, and you can see that from there. Her outfits are to show that she's very used to manual labour, and she's obviously not being cared for the same way. The Ugly Sisters, it's very important you make them look as ugly as possible. So you're required to sketch or draw a costume for them. They are horrible, they are mean, they are larger than life. That means they're really big characters. You want big, bright characters to really stand out. And that's one of the important things, because the Ugly Sisters are usually played by men, and as we learned before, they're called a Panto dame. So you want to make them stand out, okay? They've no fashion sense, will often match spots with stripes. So I've given you ideas of spots and stripes that you can work with. Colours that will clash as well. They think they're fashionable, they're really not. Huge dresses are a must, and a coloured wig with bright colours at all times. Okay, so that's the brief. So you're using what the information there is to design your costume. Okay, the last one is you're required to sketch a costume for the prince at the ball. Prince Charming, I will fix the PowerPoint, I know this says Cinderella, is good looking, fashionable. He's likely to wear a tailored suit and show physical appearance. He'll have gold and silver touches, but silver buttons. And you can see by his outfit there is particularly royal, okay, and you want to make sure that is there. And basically have fun and be creative. Now, I have put an alternative. Some of you were really struggling a bit with this, so I have made an alternative to this. So that is the PowerPoint that everyone does. If we go back to the task here, and here is the templates you can see, which are just loading up. And basically this is the front of the costume and a back of the costume, and basically you print them out and do the front and the back of the costume. Now, if you haven't got a printer, I realise that might be an issue for some people. I have an alternative. So what I've done is I've made a pantomime PowerPoint, and you can edit this. And what I've done here is I have basically decided what I'm going to pick for my Ugly Sisters, but I've not done a drawing. So I've said, right, I'm going to use pink, I'm going to use green to show she's jealous of Cinderella. I've picked out leggings, necklace, earrings and top, a tutu to be worn over a dress, and PVC boots to complete the look. And basically what I did is I went through and I decided on a colour scheme, and then I went through and decided loads of things. So I thought the leggings would look very good because they're animal print and look quite tacky. The tutu would make her look trying to be quite pretty when she's not. Big fancy earrings would make her stand out. The pink afro is almost kind of 60s inspired. I went for that look. So what I've done is I've taken down everything that she would wear, including her makeup, and I've put together on a slide and what I want her to wear. And the 2 extra sides, some of you were asking, that's if you wish to edit it, and you would just write character 1, ugly sister, and you just double click it and it should let you edit. Now there is a version of this in this the assignment area as well. Okay, there's a version on the page to show you an example, but there isn't a version in the other version as well, so it lets you see that too. And then just submit it. And if there's really an issue, as I said before, you can type it in the chat box and tell me what you'd like your characters to wear, something like what I've done here. Okay, that should be all the questions sorted. If there's anything else you want to ask me, just send me a wee email. Okay, thanks guys. Hope you're well. Stay safe. Bye guys.